Narcissistic parents are extremely abusive to their own children, but that doesn't stop when they become grandparents. The stereotype of the permissive, loving grandparent simply doesn't apply to narcissists. They will continue to do many of the same things they did to their own children if you allow that to happen. To prevent them from harming your children, it's critical to set and maintain strong boundaries. If you have a narcissistic parent, you know that they like to insert themselves in everything you do. That includes the choices you make for your own children. It's essential for your children that you understand that your narcissistic parent will emotionally abuse their grandchildren just like they did you. That's why it's critical to set boundaries and maintain them with consistent consequences. Let's explore 9 ways to do just that. Check that family gossip. There's nothing a narcissist likes to do more than manipulate and control people through gossip. For a narcissistic grandparent, a favorite target of gossip is the other set of grandparents. They want their grandchildren to like them better than the other grandparents. To ensure that's the case, they will almost certainly gossip about your partner's parents. Narcissists will often go to extreme lengths too, so the gossip may be particularly harmful. If you find this happening, you'll need to set a strong boundary with your narcissistic parents. You'll need to insist on monitoring the interactions, and you'll have to use the threat of serious consequences to ensure they don't do that. This likely means limiting their access to their grandchildren. You want your children to have good relationships with both sets of grandparents, as well as other family members. That's why you have to talk to your narcissistic parents to make sure they know that family gossip is not okay. Tell them what the consequences will be if they continue to behave that way, and be sure to enforce those consequences with every boundary violation. No unexpected visits. Narcissists in general are famous for their surprise visits. They see everyone around them, particularly family members, as mere extensions of themselves. So how can they be unwelcome? This can cause numerous problems with your partner and your children. It disrupts the normal flow of your family life. And given their toxic behavior, it can cause your children to act out in ways you don't like. That's why it's vital to set a boundary around unexpected visits. You'll need to let your parents know that no matter how close or far away they live, they are only able to visit after ensuring you are ready and willing to host them. The consequences of an unexpected visit may mean putting them up in a hotel, rather than letting them stay at your home. If they live close, you may have to ask them to leave and come back at another time. Or you may choose to leave the house with your children. While these tactics may be hard to enforce, if you do it a few times, your narcissistic parents will see that what they're doing isn't working, and they will adjust their behavior. Parents choose the baby's name. Choosing the baby's name is another way your narcissistic parent might try to insert themselves into what are personal choices. Remember that the narcissist sees you as a mere extension of their own identity. That's often why they believe they should be able to make choices for you, rather than giving you the independence to make your own decisions. Moreover, it would give the narcissist the greatest pleasure if the child is named after them somehow. The narcissist is always looking for that adulation, and if you agree to name your baby after them, it shows the world the respect and love you have for them. That is exactly what they want. It's a way to say to the world, "See, I am truly superior, and I am the greatest parent alive." Once again, you have to set a strong boundary here. by letting your narcissistic parent know that you will choose the baby's name. Once you and your partner have decided on the name, let them know that the decision has been made and the topic is no longer open for discussion. Monitor photo posts on social media. Narcissistic grandparents will often go overboard with posting pictures of their grandchildren on social media. Many parents don't want that because they feel it is a kind of exploitation of their child. If you feel this way for that reason or any other reason, you'll need to set a boundary regarding how many and which photos can be posted. You might set up a system with both sets of grandparents to review and approve any posts. You can expect your narcissistic parents to violate this rule regularly, which is why you will need to set strong consequences to discourage them from ignoring your wishes. Your consequences may include limiting access to your child, or even confiscating cell phones while your parents are around the child. It sounds like something a Hollywood star would do, but there can be problems with posting too many photos of your child. It can definitely feel like a violation of your privacy. Moreover, it's something you have a right to control. No spoiling. Another thing that narcissists are famous for is spoiling their grandchildren. You might be thinking that all grandparents do that, and to some extent that is true. The reason behind why the narcissist does it, however, is more toxic. Narcissists can be very charming when they want to be. That's how they reel you in initially, but the reason behind that charm is that they want you to like them, so that you'll give them the adoration they crave. That's the same reason they want to spoil their grandchildren. It's not quite the same as spoiling a child because you just love them so much you want them to have everything they desire. Rather, they are spoiling their grandchild so that child will tell them how great they are and how much they love them. What's more, they will then use their generosity as a manipulative tool to get their grandchildren to do what they want. They also use it as a part of triangulation with other grandchildren. They will often make one grandchild the golden child, thereby forcing their other grandchildren to compete with that ideal. These are toxic games that can do irreparable harm to your children, so it's better to avoid them by setting a strong boundary about spoiling. It will also help you raise better children. Our house, our rules. Another thing that narcissists love to do is break everyone else's rules. They will revel in doing things that are against your house rules as a way to show their superiority and charm your children. They will strive to undermine your authority in your own house as a mean of showing how much better they are than you. When your children see that someone can get away with breaking the rules, they will start to disrespect them too. Even if it means monitoring every interaction to ensure no rules are broken, it's worth the effort to show your children that everyone needs to respect your rules. A consequence of crossing this boundary is simply to not allow them back into your home until they can agree to abide by your rules. No criticizing in front of the children. As part of undermining your authority, your narcissistic parents will criticize you in front of your children. They want to show them that they know better than you do. This criticism will be a constant theme as long as you let it go on. It's important to nip this in the bud. You will want to set a hard boundary with your parents. If they have something they want to criticize, it is not acceptable to do it in front of the children. They can pull you aside or talk another time, but they need to keep quiet in front of the children. This is a basic rule of respect for anyone. It's particularly important for someone dealing with a narcissist because they need people to focus positively on them. They often achieve that by criticizing the other people around them. While they have a right to have their opinion, they do not have the right to express that opinion in front of your children. The remedy for continued violations may be simply not allowing them around the children until they can control their critical voice. No rewards for bad behavior. We have all probably experienced times when a child has done something inappropriate, but they seem so cute doing it that they sometimes get rewarded with positive attention, if nothing else. The problem with a narcissistic grandparent, however, is that they will often reward bad behavior that serves their toxic purposes. They do this consistently with grandchildren, particularly when the child is doing something that makes them feel adored or superior. This can easily create behavioral problems in your child. For that reason, you have to set strong boundary around how your children are treated when they do something inappropriate. A 2004 study by the Canadian Pediatric Society notes that consistency is a vital part of disciplining children effectively. Consistency means that all adults responsible for discipline must enforce the rules the same way every time there is a violation. Grandparents in general have problems with this, but for narcissistic grandparents, it's almost impossible. That's why you'll need to set strong boundaries and effective consequences to ensure they abide by your rules. Scheduled calls. Another way that narcissistic grandparents can be overly intrusive is by calling, either on the telephone or via video calls, way too often. This is particularly true when they live further away, but it can also happen if they are nearby. From the narcissist's point of view, their needs take priority, and they also believe you should be focused on what they want. They don't see anything they do as intrusive and will continue to do as much as you allow. That's why you should set up a plan of scheduled calls. You should decide when the calls will take place and for how long. You can also feel free to make a list of unacceptable conversation topics. If a narcissist is in your child's life, you don't want them to be feeding your kid toxicity, so you shouldn't feel like you can't set appropriate limits. You want to protect your child from that kind of negative and abusive interaction. To maintain this boundary, simply don't take the call if it is outside the time you've set up. You can also feel free to let the narcissist know that your child has to go now, and it's time to hang up. Finally, narcissistic grandparents can cause almost as much damage to their grandchildren as they did to their own children. It's vital for parents to recognize the danger they can pose and take action to prevent them from harming their children. That means setting strong boundaries and maintaining them consistently. Setting strong boundaries is vital for protecting your children from narcissistic grandparents. The following video about how to identify, set, and maintain strong boundaries has important information that can help you do just that. Thanks for watching.